We still think of resilience as being an individual endeavor. But actually, resilience isn't about something you have or you don't have. That is actually what builds resilience in times of change. So, oh, hang on, we're going backwards. No, this is not working. We'll get there, we'll get there. I need to be resilient, right? Okay. So, when we have very stressful times in organizations, when our teams are under pressure, when there's a lot of change happening, that's when we see fractures starting to happen. So right now in Saudi and in the region, we're seeing the stress levels have increased quite a lot. So of course, there's a lot of ambition, there's a lot of opportunity around delivering Vision 2030, but where we have lots of change, we also have lots of stress, which is inevitable. So we're seeing broadly in the region that actually across the Middle East, more than half of the employees are feeling stressed on a daily basis. 68% of UAE professionals and 66% of professionals in Saudi are feeling overwhelmed by the pace of change. And in addition to that, 60% of the CEOs in the region are concerned that their organizations won't be viable unless they adapt, which means that we're right to train our teams to be able to thrive in times of change. And we can do that with the right tools and the right strategies. Now, this is what happens when teams are under a lot of pressure. This is from Patrick Enconi's 5 dysfunctions of a team. And what he says is there's a lack of trust, a lack of accountability, a lack of commitment, a fear of conflict, and an inattention to results. And that's when we see poor performance happen. Now, as leaders, it's understandable that in that moment we think, right, we've got to crack down on the team. We need them to deliver. Let's get harder on them. Let's get tougher. Let's set tougher goals. But actually, that doesn't actually help teams thrive in times of change. That's actually the time that we want the leaders to actually work with the teams, to have courageous conversations, to build trust, to have moments of connection. That is fundamentally what will actually help the teams to be able to thrive. Now, I know a little bit about this because when I worked in the corporate world, I came up, in the 1990s, in the early 2000s. I'm definitely giving away my age by saying that. And I came up very much as a command and control leader myself, and I was very successful with it. I was someone who pushed hard, pushed other people, pushed everyone to their limits, pushed myself to my limits, until one day, life pushed back very hard on me. In 2014, I found myself on my deathbed, trying to fight a life-threatening illness because of a surgery that had gone wrong. And in the moment when the surgeon turned to me and said, "You've only got a few hours left to live," I had a terrible realization that I had prioritized all the wrong things in my life. I prioritized the promotions, the pay rises, the money, the car, the nice house. And when everything was about to be taken away from me, I realized I had sacrificed the most important thing in my life, and that was love. When I came out of that experience, I thought, right, I need to go back to being tough. I need to go back to being resilient. I need to push through. And so I didn't tell anyone what happened to me. I was the only woman of color at a senior level in the organization I worked in, and I didn't want to show any kind of vulnerability. So I pretended. And a year later, I had an enormous breakdown because I couldn't do it. At the time, it felt like my life was like a vase that had shattered into a million pieces all over the floor. And every time I tried to glue it back together, the vase broke even more. And I realized something in that process, that actually I couldn't go back to the person that I was. Because when we're going through intense moments of change, when we're going through adversity, we are forever changed by it. And instead, I needed to pick up the pieces of that vase and build a mosaic. Because you see, mosaics, you can glue on piece by piece. They are adaptable, they are agile, and they are flexible. They are truly resilient. And when I did that, it gave me the license to create a newer version of myself. One that was rooted in compassion, one that was rooted in courage, in connection, and in heart. And that was how I was able to lead teams with both high heart and high performance. And the success that we achieved through that was revolutionary. There were 2 key things that came out of that process. One of them is that growth isn't linear. We need to learn, unlearn, and learn again. And the second thing is that resilience is a team sport. I couldn't do it without the people around me. Now, there's a great proverb in the Arab world, which is unity is power. And I think actually this is really crucial as you guide your teams to delivering Vision 2030, because we need to build on the values of your past and give you a roadmap with the tools and strategies you can use right now that will help you to deliver on that vision. This is a strategy I want to share with you just as I close, which is from the military. It's called Embrace the Suck. And what it does is it teaches your teams to develop a mindset of what we call gritty optimism. It's where leaders can come to their teams and say, you know what, this is challenging right now, and I believe in us, we can do it. And that is how we build trust. We build it through honesty, integrity, courage to have the hard conversations. So I say to the leaders in this room, you have the power. You can lead teams with courage, compassion, and trust, and agility, because that is what builds thriving teams in times of change. And so I say to you now, the future does not belong to the strongest individuals. It actually belongs to the most resilient teams. Thank you.